Hi everyone, it's Eunice Lundstedt here from Hilltop Blooms. So today's June 30th and I'm going to do a garden tour. This will be my third year doing a garden tour on June 30th. And it's kind of mostly for myself because then it gives me a gauge of where things are at June 30th, moving forward for the summer. But some of you have been very interested in them. So I'm making this video and let's go outside and see where things are at in my gardens. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so the first garden we're going to look at is my long perennial bed, which is right beside my driveway. This is a new yarrow bed that I put in this year. I started these from seed. Here's some in bloom here. Yeah, so there's multitude colors. I think mostly like summer berries, some pinks. I can't remember, but this is the new bed. Okay. I've bought myself some phlox, perennial phlox this year, just starting out. This is my feverfew. Isn't it pretty? Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. But the sad thing is, it looks really nice now, but it's kind of blooming a little too early. This is my feverfew from last year, which I didn't know would come back, but it did. So that's exciting. I planted a few more plants of new stuff for this year, and I'm going to leave it again and see if it comes back. Here's some milkweed, just starting out. I planted lupins. Look at you guys. I started them from seed. A friend gave me some seeds. I absolutely love them. Again, they're blooming a little bit too early for me, but I'm gonna pick them because they keep reproducing. So I'm gonna pick them today because my bouquet making is not quite ready yet. I'm waiting for some other flowers to bloom, and then I'm gonna start making bouquets. But isn't that just gorgeous? I love these. If you've ever been to the East Coast, lupins grow wild there. So I'm excited. These are apparently a perennial, so I'm excited for them to come back. Here's a bit more feverfew. This is new feverfew from this year that I started from seed. And I've got a mix match here. I've got a rose, some more yarrow, my peony. Again, more yarrow. This is from last year, but isn't that such a pretty color? I love yarrow as a filler in my bouquets. It is so pretty. It's so simple, but just adds that delicate touch. Okay, so you're going to ask, Eunice, why do you have tennis balls at the edge of your garden? Well, let me explain it before I go any further. I have tennis balls on these rebar sticks because when you're picking flowers, which I do a lot of because that's what my purpose is, I pick the flowers. When you're bending down, if you don't have this tennis ball or some sort of protection on top of that stick, you could poke your eye out, okay? So it's a safety feature. Here's some other yarrow from last year, and this is very, very light pink. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Over here are 3 liatris. 2 are white, I believe, and 2 are purple. I'll see if I can find some pictures and put them on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. These are my sea holly. These first 3 plants are some white I got from a friend in McCreary. But these other ones, all these other ones, some of them are huge. These are blue, okay? And they look green right now, but those middle sections turn into some little blue spikes. Okay, so now we're on my long bed. This is what I call my extra bed. And it's not the best soil. We keep amending it every year, try and improve it. But it's right close to the highway here, next to these trees. So, not the best soil and maybe not the best place, but it does get full sun. So I don't have a lot of room in the other big gardens, so I have to just plant all my extras here, which aren't the best flowers, but it gives me some extra space. First bed here is glads. Okay, and I don't know, I think I have maybe 150 in here. These ones are taller. These ones are called bridal bouquet. I remember they're like a pink and a white, And the other colors are just a mixture of things. So there's some of them are smaller, but I'm pretty confident they'll grow. This whole next bed here is my straw flowers. Okay, I do not use straw flowers in my bouquets. I don't like the way they look in a bouquet, but I do love them dried, and I use them on my pumpkins. Okay, so I'm going to be doing pumpkins again in the fall this year, so you'll see. So there's nothing blooming yet, but there's all colors here. This is my small little dahlia patch, and Eunice swore she was never going to grow a dahlia again. But here I am. The reason I don't like dahlias is because you have to dig them up, and they're like a potato tuber, and I don't like all that extra work. Glads are enough to dig up. Anyway, let me show you this one. And why do I have little bags on? Well, the reason... Oh, man, come on. The reason I have little bags on them is because the bugs... keeps the bugs off. Come on, baby. Well, I'm sorry. I can't really get the bag off very easy with one hand. But this is my first dahlia of the season. So, I love dahlia flowers themselves. Oh, beautiful, yes. But it's the plants and the work and blah, blah, blah. I don't like. Okay, so I think I have 24 different plants. 2 different types. This one, I think this one's called Wizard of Oz. I'm not sure. Which are like a peachy coral. And the other ones over here, which are smaller. Oh, I can't remember the name of them, but a different color. Pink, I think. And usually dahlias don't start blooming until later in the fall, but for some reason that one over there is blooming, but hey, I'm not complaining. So this whole bed here, the front of this whole bed, is what we call Cresspedia. And there's one started here. Cresspedia bloom these tiny little yellow balls, and they're very tall and skinny with a yellow ball on the end. I do use them in bouquets if I do get enough height. If I don't get enough height, then I just dry them. Okay. The rest of this little bed here looks like a bunch of grass right now. But what it is it's called bunny tail grass. So they get that little fuzzy ball on the end of a stem. This will be my 3rd year growing it. Have not had great stem length. So we'll see what happens. Again, they're wonderful dried. So this next whole bed is Cosmos. Okay. And Cosmos, they fit perfectly in this soil because they don't, they survive in, not the best looking soil. I have a couple just starting to bloom, which I should, start to think about picking. When you pick a Cosmo for a bouquet, you need to pick it just as it's opening. If you wait a little too late, then the Cosmo doesn't last as long in the base. So anyway, I'm starting to get some buds, which is nice. I have a few zinnias around the edge just because I had extra zinnias and needed to put them somewhere. This next bed is what I'm calling my tall bed. Okay, everything in this bed gets super tall. That's why I have 2 layers of netting. Okay, this one here is called Verbena. It's starting to bloom. I see. There's one there. I don't know. Sorry about the focus. There are these small purple flowers on tall stems, so they'll get very tall. The next one is called Sweet Annie. And I'm not sure if they'll get tall enough for bouquets. Some of them are looking pretty good right now. But they are beautifully dried for pumpkins as well. This next set here is hollyhocks. Now, hollyhocks are a perennial. And I started them from seed. And apparently they don't bloom first year. So I will probably just leave them here, and we'll see what happens next year. I am growing them, not necessarily for bouquets. I'm growing them because I'm possibly, maybe, might have a little workshop on flower hammering. So hollyhocks are a really good flower for that. This next section here is amaranth. I'm growing 2 different kinds of amaranth, both kind of red, spiky, these amaranth will grow very tall, very tall. They're only 1.5 feet now. Right here at the end here, it looks like corn, but guess what? It is corn. It's called broom corn. And I'm growing it for the pumpkins again, and I'm going to dry it. But apparently a lot of people grow broom corn and they make brooms out of it. Some crafty brooms. It's kind of cool. Like just ornamental, of course. But so I'm growing it. They look and they grow like corn. So I thought I'll put a few rows in and see what happens. So far so good. Okay, let's go over to the big garden and see the rest. Okay, so we come out the back garage. Right out here on the patio are my 325 lilies in crates. Yeah, look at them. They're budding. They're coming along. They look fantastic for height. So I'll have some beautiful lilies. I'm praying in about a week I'll have some started. And then this group back here looks like their buds are a lot smaller, so hopefully they'll be a little extended, because I need to spread out these lilies over a couple of weeks for my customers. So those of you that have ordered bouquets, this is what you're going to be looking at. I wish I could show you. I will put a picture up. I have three kinds. I have Bach, which is white. I have LOD, which is pink, I believe. And I have Brinsky, I think is pink. So I have white and pink. In the fall, my plan is in the fall, after I've used all these lilies, then I will be selling the bulbs for a very inexpensive price, just that you could buy and plant in your garden. Okay, so coming down the walkway here, to the left is my greenhouse, which I am absolutely in love with. It's so helpful. Right now I don't have much in there. All I have is some sunflowers on a cart, which I can pull out. It's hot out. And I have some other sunflowers here on the heat mat. I start sunflowers, I think May 9th is my first date I started them. And I start them every week for 11 weeks. Okay? So you can see these sunflower seedlings are a little bigger. These are the ones that are going to go in next weekend. Okay? These ones here are older, are younger, I should say, and they'll go in the following week. So from the time I start them, under the in the trays on the heat mat, 3 weeks later I'm putting them in the garden. Okay, here's the big garden. Coming up to the gate, we're redoing this fence, so it's kind of a mix match here, but gate's working anyway. Okay, so I have 6 raised beds. 5 of them are flowers. Okay, bed number 1, full of snapdragons. Okay, lots in bloom already. I have cut quite a few just for myself and gave away to some friends and stuff. Okay, but this type of snapdragon is the Chantilly. So they do normally bloom earlier. Again, I wish they would have waited a little bit longer, but I have no control over that, unfortunately. Okay, so there's some whites. These are called apple blossom. And then I have a whole bunch of darker colors coming. So this is kind of the first succession of snaps that I planted. I think there's, I don't know if it's 200 in here, but like lots. They're planted 6 inches apart. Okay. I have 8 pots of this. This is called Hibiscus Splendor. Something new I've never grown before. But it grows, it's just a foliage is what it is. But it's a burgundy foliage. It'll be very pretty in the fall with your sunflower bouquets. Okay. Bed 2 here. All of it is celosia. All of it. 3 different types. Oh, I can't remember the names of it. I did put the tags up, I think. Okay, yes, I did. This is just a plain celosia red. Okay. This is a celosia salmon. This is a ruby parfait, but some of them are a little small, but they'll grow. And this is, what is this one? Oh, yeah, flamingo feather. Flamingo feather. So they got some height to come. Here's my regular corn. And this bed is a mix match. This bed is the funniest bed I've ever planted. It's got like divided into 4. Right here is some direct seeded Nigella, which is very pretty dried. I have some baby's breath, which I'll show you some other baby's breath I have too. But I had a couple plants in here. This whole patch right here is Bells of Ireland. And Eunice is very happy to see this. This was all direct sown. I struggle starting Bells of Ireland from seed in my seed room because I just can't get it to germinate. But I thought I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to put direct seeded right here in the bed, and what a success! So I am so excited. They're kind of droopy a little bit here on the side. I better get some water in here. It's a hot day. But anyway, they produce the most beautiful stems, good for foliage. I have a little bit more celosia. Like I said, this whole bed is kind of funny. It's divided like into 4. A little bit of leftover celosia here. This is terracotta celosia. And this one is, pampas plume. Pampas plume, yeah. So this one has bigger bushes of color. Okay, I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Here's in bed 4. Here's a few extra snappies. Okay, some extra ones. These ones are a little bit later. Down the middle I have a little bit of blue plum, and then the front of the bed here is all Lisianthus. Okay, now Lisianthus, I've got one blooming, and this guy here is one that I started save seed from last year. I hope I have more success with that. I tried to save the seed from last year's Lisianthus. I had only 2 plants germinate, so very disappointed, but ended up buying a bunch of transplants for the greenhouse, and they're coming along. Okay, there's a couple more of those red tubs full of that hibiscus splendor. This bed, kind of funny again, kind of a mixture of things. It's got a whole bunch of bachelor buttons in the front here, and these were direct seeded. These are these tall spiky things right here. You usually see bachelor buttons blue, baby blue color. So once I start cutting these will definitely be used in bouquets. They're really nice and tall. A lot of them are very nice and tall. Now, the back of the bed, I have blue pleurum, and this is all I started from seed. I love it. It's a beautiful filler. Once these little yellow flowers start to color up, I'll be using them. Once they start to open up, not color up, open up. And the only thing is that it doesn't last long. It does not like the heat. So I'll probably be using it at the beginning of July, and by mid to late July, they're done. Last bed here is my only little vegetable garden I have. Just, simple beets and onions and carrots and lettuce, and I used my lettuce quite a bit already. So it's coming. I have my big fence of sweet peas, which I have a few of them that are blooming, but the rest are still yet to bloom, which is good because I don't want them till about the middle of July. So I started some from seed. I bought 1 tray from a greenhouse, and the rest I started from seed. And then a little patch over here I actually direct sowed. Okay, so I kind of am gonna think about maybe next year just doing the direct sowing, because my direct sowing are as good or better than my seed starts that I did. Okay, here we are in the big garden, and I gotta bring some water. There's some sunflowers that aren't looking too great at the moment, but anyway, bed 7 is going to be all sunflowers, and this is the most recent bed. Okay, so I have 2 big rows of sunflowers, and you'll see that. Okay, bed 8. Okay, on the one side here, this is all Rudbeckia. I have different kinds of Rudbeckia, your classic Indian summer, cappuccino, and so lots of unique colors. Here's my eucalyptus. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with eucalyptus. Okay, I love it. I love the smell of it. It's not the best to grow, easiest to grow. Okay, I don't know. It's one of those possible going to be cut on the cut list for next year. I hate to say it, but it might be. This little patch here is all Scabiosa. Okay, I have one possibly starting to bloom here, but lots of these are what they call black knight. So there's black in here. I think there's going to be salmon. I think maybe some white as well. Go around the end of the garden bed here. This whole bed here is all dianthus, and there's some of them that are starting to get some height on them. Okay. I absolutely loved these flowers last year. I had all colors. I had pinks, I had whites, I had reds. So again, I'm going to have lots of colors. Some of these, I think these are the Amazon rose. Some of them are getting quite a bit of height. So, once those start to sprout up, we'll be using them. On the other side of this bed is a whole bed of, I think there was 350 statice I put in here. Started these from seed. These look like weeds right now, but they are beautiful, beautiful fillers. Okay. This side is some ageratum. I have white, red, and blue again. Here's some white. The white seems to be a little slower than the rest. That's the same thing as last year, according to my notes. There's the blue. Yeah, that's pretty. It's a very pretty little simple filler. Okay. At the end of this bed here, next to the ageratum, is some more feverfew. Okay. At the end of the status bed is some stock. Okay. So they're starting to bloom. Yay! These are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Smell amazing type of flowers. And I have a few new raised beds that I put in this year. And this whole bed is full of stock. And look at if there's some color coming. Oh my God. Oh, look at this one. This one's kind of got a few different colors. If you're asking me why do I have netting on it, it's because, I don't know if you can see it. I can't really see the screen very well. Where are we here? Oh, maybe there it is. The Cabbage Patch moths. And there's a few moths inside of there. I gotta maybe open the screen up for a bit. They like to lay eggs. They're like similar. This flower here is similar to the brassica cabbage and stuff. This bed is all gomphrena. Now I'm not that happy with it this year. The reason I'm not that happy with it, some of it is blooming very early. There's a couple of different kinds in here. One is the ball type, which is this kind here. This one's pink. I think there's pink, there's red, there's orange in here, but I don't know if it's the soil that we put in here because this is a brand new raised bed, but certainly not happy, and I'm only growing this to dry. So we'll see what happens. Then there was the stock other bed. Then this is another new bed over here. This bed is going to be beautiful. This bed here at the front has that frosted explosion grass. And ooh, look at that. I see we have some little fine blades coming up. So the frosted explosion grass, which I used massive tons of it last year. It's a great filler. This is another great filler. It's called Ami. Oh, look we got some opening. It looks like white dill. Okay. And I seeded this just from direct seeded. Look it's starting to come. Oh, it's beautiful. But I gotta watch this because the aphids love it. Over here is the same. It's an Ami type, but it's more of a brown purple color, not white. So it's very pretty. So this will be a very, very used bed for sure. Okay, last two beds. This bed here, or the very last bed, is all sunflowers. Okay, so this is where I started my first sunflowers. So this is the first group of sunflowers here that I planted. All of them started from seed in a tray. 3 weeks later, they get planted out here, and then they grow for 3 weeks. So I think it's 60 days from time I seed it to the time I should be able to harvest it. And last year, I actually tracked it. Last year, I actually kept extremely good notes about when I planted things, when I started things. And it was almost right on 60 days. 59 to 61, I think, was my average. So that's pretty good to know. Okay, so in the bed beside the sunflowers is a bunch of basil. I have 3 different kinds. I have cinnamon at this end. Then I have a huge patch of lemon basil, and I use a lot of this lemon basil as a filler. Okay. It's not bad height. It's coming along. I see there was something eating the... Okay, sorry, I had to cut it off. The phone rang. So I was talking about the basil. So I use the basil as a nice filler. And I have cinnamon, lemon, and Thai. Never grown the Thai before. This is the Thai. And I don't know about the Thai. It's not doing so good. So, Mr. Thai, you got to grow taller if you want to be used in bouquets. But lemon is always a very popular one. What's nice is you got that little bit of a smell. So these are not, you cannot eat these. These are, grown for the purpose of cut flowers. These are not a herb. Okay. Now the rest of this bed and the other half of the end of this bed is all zinnias. Okay. So zinnias are very pretty flowers. These ones over on this side that you're seeing right now, all these ones, this short little patch on this side, are all what I'm calling specialty zinnias. So the Queen Line series. I love zinnias. They're a pretty flower. Problem with me growing zinnias where I live is I live close to a few farmers' fields, and a lot of times there's canola or alfalfa, which is totally fine, except there's a bug that likes canola, and he also likes the zinnias. So I have a hard time. I've had complete crops destroyed by the lygus bug. Okay, so I have to be, I have to be very careful. Okay, so the rest of this bed here, right here, this bed is all zinnias. Okay, so these ones on this side of the pathway are all the larger type, the Benares giants. So I got lots of colors once they start blooming, and they're a nice flower in the fact that you pick them, the more you cut, the more they produce. So once they got enough height, then I start picking. So I got a few to choose from. So turn this around. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the end of my tour. If you're still here watching, I love you, because I know it was long. There's lots to see, but I really appreciate that, you coming along with me. I do this video mostly for myself because I like to know where I'm at this stage, June 30th. But comparatively to last year, I would say that we're probably a little bit better as far as height of flowers. I have some blooming that were not blooming last year. Overall, I would say we're in a little bit better situation, or I am anyway. We've had some rain, we've had some heat, so very good. I'm excited to start picking and making bouquets. So thanks, everybody. Let me just do a back tour here. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's the sunflowers too. On this side here. Nope, on this side here. Here we are, right there. There's a bunch of that's my big sunflower row. Yeah, so thanks a lot for coming along. And we'll talk to you soon, and maybe we'll see you at the farmer's market. If you would like a bouquet, just send me a private message, and if I have extras, I'll make you one. Bye-bye.